future. No. Especially when there are so many power picks in the meta right now.
And right now, a lot of them are open. So Ashe was actually the one I was going to mention first. Kalista, still open as well. Lucian, even though we don't like it, we know teams still very highly prioritize it. Also open. All of the junglers, usually we see like Maokai get banned, maybe... we do have the Vi, but outside of that, no... Rel ban, which actually I think against T1 is valid, given how much better owners looked in that specific jungler. We saw him go back to the J4.
Lucid too.
It did not work, as Sejuani is going to get taken away here. So Aatrox, Kalista, Rel would be the picks that I mainly...
Maokai.
Yeah, Maokai that I mainly look towards.
J-Sari.
Kalista is the standout for me, though. You can obviously respond to it with things like the
Karma
Talia and the Poppy. This is what DK have been going for, though.
Yeah, that says Hosu, it's his Showmaker's name, and it says Mantra Q.
Yeah.
He has been playing a lot of Karma, so it's his most played now at 9 games. 6-3 on the pick. And it's strong. It's good. It's reliable. You get mid lane control very often. There's the first pick, Aatrox. Not on the blue side, though, Chronicler. And potentially, yep, the Lucian to follow it up.
No real changes here in T1. Their setup and their priorities in draft.
That's not Zeri.
That is not Zeri. That is a big risk to take into Lucian. We'll see if they want to give away where this Karma is going. Obviously, Showmaker is just hovering something. I imagine a jungle pickup makes sense here. Can also go for a top lane, but...
Like a TF or something?
Yeah, maybe. If you are afraid that's going to get banned away.
Or
Kalen,
get a good support for your Smolder.
Kalen is definitely a Milio type of guy. I really like Milio Smolder personally. I do very much worry about the laning phase, and right now this comp has no engage, so if you don't end up locking down Rel, I think you're really going to struggle in that regard unless Kingen picks up his Ornn, which, just for the record, to do matchup into Aatrox, but I would love it. Kingen was, for many a time, one of our best Ornn players. Yeah, Nami's going to get locked in. Shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. But Milio Smolder really allows him to have a little bit more agency in the lane while also allowing him to stack. Obviously, we do know Smolder, his future is not certain when it comes to the nerfs that are coming for him eventually. But right now, he is still a very, very scary baby dragon. But DK making the read that if we can get to mid to late against this team, we got a shot. T1, yeah, they struggled in the early game against Gen G. Right now, they are getting so much comfort. Lucian, Nami, which are really strong early game power picks. And we'll see how DK is able to round out the competition. Maybe they just say we don't need any range or engage. Or we don't need to engage because we have the range of Smolder with a W of Milio added on the top of it. Is Cassante also taken away?
Yeah. Pretty interesting. No look at the TF, which we sometimes do see for teams that pick Aatrox in the first round of picks. Ahri also going to be taken away. That's another ban towards Faker. And a big power pick as well nowadays. Talia's still open. I mean, there's still a lot that you can play in the mid lane. And doesn't have to pick it here, of course. Can wait and hide it until the last moment if they do want to get a top jungler, as there have been a decent amount of jungle bans as well. And never mind, just going to switch that over to Talia.
So Talia picked up here. Into the Karma is going to struggle in the lane, but does have a lot of power. So it's Maokai. I'm like double checking that it wasn't banned because it hasn't really made it for any drafts. But
Maokai.
It's not exciting. Oh, a change?
Yeah, Karma Xin, we've been seeing a lot of this.
And I do like it a lot. I'm just shocked given that DK have been playing extremely heavy. Okay, there we go.
We see a lot of it because generally Maokai's banned.
Yeah. I was also, I think they've already committed to being a peel back type of composition, so it does make a lot of sense to me to then go for the Maokai, because it really aids that type of style, provides some much necessary CC. Jace, I wonder if that could be a consideration here. Renekton, it's foolproof. It's a good matchup into specifically Aatrox. We've seen it pull out more and more. Does great in the 1v1. Is it going to shut down Zeus? I would be pretty hesitant on that, because I do think his Aatrox still has been able to have an impact in basically every single game. But what does Owner go here? Because so many of the standard picks have been taken away. Are you going to go for something that tries to invade the Maokai, or are we going to go a very different direction?
Like in Italy. Nocturne is going to be the choice here. I'm seeing a decent amount of Nocturne. Certainly can be one of those picks that you throw up a shield and Maokai can't necessarily stop you from doing it. The only issue with it is that it feels like the one champ that's going to be going really hard in the paint unless the Aatrox gets some big flanks. And it's not necessarily like a team fight engaged champ. It's like I'm going to go in by myself. It's not a Rel that kind of sets up the fight for the damage dealers to do their work. It's more of like just another guy that's diving into the back line.
Yeah, D+ their composition is Renekton gets us through early, and then everything is in the only goal is get aiming fed, get into his stacks, and Showmaker will be a great secondary damage source with the Karma, as long as he doesn't fall too far behind. And then that's the whole comp. You kite back, you have your Milio, you have the safety of Maokai, as we take a look at some other great fan art. For T1, really Nocturne to me feels like, obviously you can make some semi-global plays with the Taliyah as well, but it just feels like I press my Paranoia and then Zeus flanks. But if DK is able to use the kite back power of this composition to stay away from that, I think the short-range comp for T1 can really struggle if they don't take control of the early game, which, to be fair, I do expect that they will find.
Yeah, I do agree with everything you just said, Chronicler. We'll see if T1 can manage it, or will D+ bring us to a later stage of the game as we hop into the Rift for game number 1. D+ Kia, Hana, do it, set.
D+ Kia, fighting.
Yes. T1, Hana, do it, set.
T1, fighting. Yeah. I really don't know what you were going. I follow you, but I had no idea what I was going for.
Right when I started speaking, I was like, well, I shouldn't do the same thing. But I thought about it too late, so I like started low, and it was like, kind of ended up into that. Take a look at our Weeby friends there on the bottom. Thank you, Worry Bank, for the Weeby friends. A great addition to the LCK.
Just gives me more of an excuse to talk about anime. So I'm very happy. Not that I need to.
Is there any anime character that jumps out at you that's like Lucian?
Like in terms of vibe?
Yeah, and like...
Nothing I can come up with right now.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm trying to think. It's hard to make the direct one-to-one comparison, I think, in a lot of cases. It's more so skin lines than anything else.
Would you say that Gaihan is a better weeb than you are? Gaihan being one of our...
oh yeah, no,
awesome.
I couldn't match. Absolutely not. No, I'm
global.
I'm a big hobbyist. You know, I've seen a lot. I like a lot, but I'm not nearly as committed. Haven't even seen the new Demon Slayer movie. Oh, wow, it's great. I know.
Unbelievable.
I know.
And you call yourself a weeby friend.
I know, yeah. It's a little bit disappointing. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried to get you guys into it as well, but it hasn't really panned out.
No. Well, you got us into board games, so
it's
that was good. The one thing I don't really like, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't really like about Lucian in general, but especially for T1, it forces Keria to just play Nami every game. And I'm like, yeah, you're not going to get Senna ever, but it also just feels like he is just kind of locked into this pick that's an Enchantress. You can land bubbles, you can change games with your tidal wave, but it's not necessarily a hugely skill-oriented pick that can really just allow Keria to bloom and to carry the team. So I've been a little bit sad to watch Keria just playing the Nami every game in recent times.
Has been the priority for T1, and I imagine that with every team's continued insistence that this is a good bot lane, it is still dunking on scrims.
Keria just got that played solo.
That's not ideal.
Fed Nami, okay. He's
no.
like, I hear you, Valdez.
No.
I'm going to carry this game.
No, not Fed Nami, Valdez, no.
Why
He's
not?
Fed Lucian. Wow. Okay, took the second tower shot as well. I'm like, you can take the one tower shot and feel great about the trade, but I would have much rather he just proxied. Might be looking for a proxy on the follow-up wave, but the Renekton buffs, I think, have made him definitely much more of a menace in lane, as we have already mentioned the cast many times. He also remains in powers aiming. That's, I don't know, that's like the third last hit. I gotta be careful with those, especially as Smolder, because of how, you know, the sooner you get to your stacks, it works exponentially, so you really don't want to miss too much. It gives you a decent amount of extra power, but by itself not really going to do the heavy lifting that you need. Yeah, the only thing that I think is sad about Renekton is that Gore Drinker is gone, and you don't get the full dopamine that you still get with Aatrox, where like you go in and then you just your Q, it doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't quite hit the same, but I'd say it's still pretty strong. Faker's going to get leashed up here. That's a big Master Q to the face, and without seismic shove, Faker's going to have to back away. He does have a Biscuit, and is going to hit level 5 in that trade, so he is fine, but he's still going to go for, or he was thinking about a back, but he's going to cancel it now. Lucid, considering coming on in, but there's a ward, and he will be spotted out. Skooma and Carry have been playing this one very pushed up, without any recourse from the Smolder lane, of course.
Yeah, it was pinged as well, the ward, so DK did know that there wasn't really a gank opportunity, but still gonna force Skooma and Carry to play at least a little bit more respectful, just in case of a play, as we do see Faker actually TP'd already, so he was down in TP, his lane really struggling into this Karma, and that should allow Lucid to pick up as the bubble.
Yeah, the bubble is going to land. Aiming, though, does get a heal from Kellen, a shield, and all the wonderful Milio love. And he's fine, but got to be careful. At least at this point, Guma and Carry are pretty low on mana. They need to go for a back themselves, so not going to push the advantage.
Yeah,
aiming's fine.
Can't get take too many of those to the face. As owner, ooh, the rare early gank of Showmaker. Yeah, that's
never gonna work.
No.
They are gonna still fear and just maybe try to help him get out of lane. There's no seismic shove. The second Faker misses seismic shove, the gank is never gonna work. So yeah. Also, Karma has a speed up with her Spire, which allows her to run away from it.
Yeah.
Especially going tier 2 boots first, which is very good against Talib.
So, dodges the gank, Showmaker absorbs the pressure, Oni then tries to force the play anyway, it doesn't end up working out. They will get the Dragon for this, which testament to Guma and Carrier, good for them. But Lucid is going to get triple blades, they got a proxy off, so Kingen gets a free back, and they bullied Zeus off the wave, as well as forced his TP. So, a lot of this, I think, does show, really is just Showmaker getting a great job done early in the lane, forcing the early TP out from Faker. He then TPs back. As a tempo advantage, gets the shove in, allowing Lucid to pick up the early grubs. And then also Kingen in the 1v1 actually doing a really good job. The reason why Zeus was already low was due to his aggressive trades, so Lucid just has to show his face. In the early game for DK, if they can generate a, even if it's just like a, I don't know, like 2,000 gold towards topside, that can be enough to get you to the point where Smolder can win you the game. That by itself is not enough. You still need to keep him safe from a decent amount of threat on the enemy team. But a single Drake and a topside lead, you know, have King and roam over for like the third Drake fight. There's plenty of opportunity here as owner will steal away Lucid's red buff here. Lucid will know that this is being taken, but he's Maokai, he doesn't have ball prior, so just has to be sad.
Yeah, I think all things considered, DK should be very happy with the way this early game is going.
Yeah.
Singular Mountain Drake going to T1 is like, whatever. Based on the comp, the only good thing is, of course, you're stacking the Drakes against the Smolder, which you would like to pick up the Soul as early as possible into the Smolder. So, of course, they do want to get this objective anyway. You have a little bit of a fight here. It is 3v2, but Smolder is not a champion, so don't fight it. And DK decide, yeah, we will listen and not fight.
They're already playing it safe, so Kingen.
Yeah, gonna force the World Ender. Definitely a nice amount of trading going in favor of Kingen in this one, but now Aatrox gonna hit that Q3, and Zeus does trade it back decently in that one.
Nicely done by Zeus, but still, Kingen not gonna feel too sad. Doesn't actually get his crash. Not sure if he can pick up maybe a plan. That was DK. Could have gone for a play there, but owner, I think, was just about to hit 6. As, man, this mid lane, Showmaker is absolutely dunking on Faker. This pressure, really big.
It's just so hard to play into the Karma as Talia. Like, you can never hit seismic shove if the Karma knows what they're doing, and they can just sprint at you. And you don't really do anything except throw rocks at them that they shield, and then it's a done deal from there.
Talia's early damage just also isn't that good.
Yeah.
Obviously, way back when they changed her, took a lot of damage out of her early W combo. Gave her a lot more power in the late game as, oh, this counter gank.
Yeah, the flash is going to come in. Let's see if this counter gank does work. No Dominus available. Double dash is going to come out, but now the Nature's Grab, they are turning it onto Owner, but not enough damage, but there it is. King and flashes in for the first blood. Zeus is going to be zoned away, and here's Showmaker, puts him on a leash, and that'll be the end of him. Showmaker picks up the second kill for DK early on.
And I thought Lucid was going to counter gank, but instead they flash aggressively on top of Zeus. Owner, when he arrives, looks like he might be able to turn the tide, but Maokai might not be that strong in these type of extended fights. But Renekton, that already has a lead, is not going to be afraid. Early Eclipse now.
9 minutes.
For King and yeah, Showmaker arriving there, cherry on top of the cake. Normally, Talia has a lot of map presence, but as we pointed out, and this is partially due to the matchup, partially due to Showmaker just doing a great job. Right now, there is no opportunity to roam. As we take another look here, the empowered healing on the Q going off is so big here because it means that Kingen stays alive for so much longer, gets his Conqueror, and then the flash Q to ensure Zeus does not get on top of him due to Lucid. So there also is an opportunity for him to maybe try and get at least a 1-for-1 trade. And now, like early Eclipse, this lane is going to be absolute nightmare for Zeus.
It's Dunzo. It's pushing away from him too.
Yeah.
This is not going to look good for him.
Owner doesn't have ult. So it's he isn't really in an opportunity either to easily fix his lane state. Oh god.
My guy. He is desperate. I mean, what can you do except try to take some trades and look for something? Lucid does not have flash, and now he's going to caught between a rock wall and a hard place, and down he will go. Nicely done on the side of T1, but this top lane is not getting any better for the side of Zeus, as Kingen does extend quite a bit in far to that turret, and he will survive after going pretty far in there.
Ooh. Yeah, neither of them had flash available, otherwise that could have gone very differently. His ult.
Kellen comes in, ult used by Kellen, and he will be just fine.
Really nice pick onto Lucid there. Well done by Fakers.
Uh-oh. Now we got the stun coming in. That's the Q, and that is the end of him. He cannot step up to the lane.
You can't walk up. You don't have flash. He's a Eclipse, man. He's just going to shred through you. Kingen on this Renekton popping off. Lucid has ult.
He
if he wants to use it. Yeah, they spot him too early.
Also aiming
but
is still Smolder.
But they don't need to. Like, they can just sit here and give up the next Drake, see what the soul ends up being. And you're not in any rush. And this Renekton, every time he shows up now to a fight, T1 are really going to have to bring their A-game not to get run over by this Crocodile.
Yeah. See, they're trying to pressure, aiming under the turret, but he's got Mom to help out here. Still going to get a bit of poke damage down. And it's an Ocean Soul against this one. And yeah, there is a nice amount of poke with Karma and Smolder, sure, but that is not the soul you were hoping for as T1. To try to snowball this into a bit more. Because now you're behind, and yeah, you've got a bunch of Drakes, but they're not going to be extremely useful in this one. As Showmaker looking for the play is going to force the flash out, but did he go too far is the question. Owner is right here, and that is going to be the end of Showmaker's reign over this mid lane for now.
Big moment there, as the mid-jungle duo for T1 finds another successful play, keeping this gold even.
Oh yeah, they're going in on this one. We do have Nami nearby. Keria trying to make this a thing. A double knockback coming in from Lucid, keeping them around. And this Renekton is so gigantic. Very nice spell shield on the stun. Otherwise, Owner was dead.
Really cute there from King, and he actually walked back and used one of the tiny mites to get his E so that he could get the second E. Didn't end up mattering because Owner was still holding on to the spell shield. Showmaker has been playing with max pressure up until this point, and it does end up backfiring a little bit.
Uh-oh. Is Guma okay? I'm not even sure, though. The leash comes down, and he's going to respect it. Cleanse comes out, down a couple levels against Fed Karma. Probably just better safe than sorry in that one.
Lucid using some of his available gold as we do take another look. Faker does have to flash. If there's any reinforcements here, that might be enough. But with Lucid on the grubs, never gonna end up working out. Is aiming at these type of fights, as long as he doesn't die, he is thriving.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that I would be worried about if I was DK. I don't think that Ocean Soul is nearly as strong as a lot of the other options, but you do want to make sure Smolder can still actually burn down people.
Yeah.
So we will see. I imagine DK is just going to find a way to get this Crocodile towards the river in about 2.5 minutes. And if he's there, yeah. That really says it all.
Zeus still does not have his first item. He's just been put so far behind, and DK did such a great job, and Zeus was not able to match in this lane.
What about free people?
I mean, Keria does have Tidal Wave.
Yeah,
maybe
like it can backfire.
Yeah.
Herald fight coming up. Faker's going to get first turbo though, and he has TP, so he can still join this. It's a big gold influx for T1.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't think they can use the gold, though, because they do have to fight right here, right now.
And TP. Or is Faker just going to shove here?
Yep. There's the TP. And they are looking to challenge this. Kingen is coming over. He is the raid boss right now on the side of DK. And they get it pretty much for free. Now we get the engage coming on in. And a nice blast going to try to get Showmaker into a rough spot, but he's dodging everything. Can he dodge everything forever? No, he cannot. As finally they do take him down. And at least they do get that kill. So actually T1 moving ahead in terms of the gold lead.
Big win there for T1. As the wave attempt to save, but there was another wave coming in, so I don't know about that one. They get the Herald, but they do have to really pay for it. I think there is the power of paranoia, because with full vision, we knew DK could have probably tried to turn around that fight, but giving up Showmaker by itself, not the end of the world. The big thing here, though, is that they already got the bot side turret, so they got a really big amount of gold from that. And then here, the Blast Cone ends up saving aiming, but unfortunately Showmaker, even though he stalls for a decent amount of time, Zeus still finds him. There you see, like, the health bars are full. They could have gone in, but they don't really know the landscape of the fight, so they opt not to run the risk. And now the gold lead is there for T1, but this is where we go, is it enough? Because Smolder, as we all know, can basically be non-existent, and as long as it's 225, you can win the game. And he's Knight's Vow on top of him as well, as shouldn't come as a surprise. Good buy there by Lucid, and he also clicked on aiming, which thumbs up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Clicked on the hyper carry.
That's the skill expression that I love to see in my League of Legends.
Yeah, I do think that. Okay, we're gonna have a fight. I don't get to think, as now Gumo will be forced to flash, or rather dash away from this one with this cleanse, and he will be okay. Gets the flash out of Lucid. That's a bit overzealous on that play.
Yeah, that's a win. Maybe they thought that he was out of his cleanse, because flash for cleanse, obviously T1 is going to take that trade any time of the week. And the big thing do notice is that if there is no Crocodile, then DK really needs to respect, because their AD carry isn't a real dragon yet. He's just a baby dragon. He's not even, you know, we're not even talking about close to Elder.
Not even 125.
This is Chemtech level. He really needs to chill.
Not a Chemtech Drake on your team. Ugh.
Oh, they're going to commit to this. They really want this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you get the smite steal, and yes, he will. They're going to pick it up, and T1, they just say, no, that Maokai is too scary. And without Zeus, without TP, they have to run away.
That's the big thing. DK, no, if we invest our TP, they cannot commit to this, because Zeus can't join the fight. If they get a mid lane turret for this, there would still be a colossal win, as aiming is just going to walk up the wall.
Wall comes in, and yes, they are going to catch aiming, but this is under a turret, so...
With Milio. He does have to use his barrier, though, so that's nice.
They got the barrier.
Yeah.
Still not a good play.
No, it wasn't. They might trade top side turret for bot side turret. They need to be a little bit careful, though. If somehow they get King, and on top of them, this can still be a big problem as the TP gets cancelled.
Yeah, they are going to stop the TP. Definitely pretty nice, but have they overextended? Good spell shield, but you can't spell shield everything. The bubble is massive from Keria and gives them a chance, but it just doesn't matter as T1 are down members, and DK are so fed at this point in time. Baker, he's trying to ride the wall. But that's not a flash, as you mentioned. Big shield's coming out, but he will die eventually. The question is, yep, Showmaker will be given the shutdown, and this is a massive swing in favor of DK. They should be able to take down this bottom turret, too.
Ooh, Lucid. Is he going to get taken down here? Guma ends up going for the brush instead, so Lucid should be fine. Big thing here is that Zeus did end up picking up a topside turret. But then on the flip side, so did Kingen. So a lot of it is invested, but second item now done. I wouldn't be surprised if DK are really going to continuously look for these aggressive fights. What they really want, though, is mid lane turret, as this is just a messy situation altogether. Getting the TP cancel is nice because it allows you to play towards the cross map. But if you do that, you should also be very aware that all that DK want to do is fight, like 100%. Like they invest their TP, they can't save top, so they're going to hard force a fight.
Yeah.
And T1 just doesn't seem to be ready for it. A little bit too far forward. Ends up having to pay with some of their lives. And now, I think aiming's sitting at like 135. Once you pass the 125 threshold, it's going to rapidly accelerate. There we go, already at 140 now.
He's been in mid for so long, too. I mean, they are very obviously trying to feed him as many stacks as possible. Like, they rotated him over as early as they possibly could. The Emilio got him through lane, and the Emilio has been very clutch in many situations. Actually kept...
Aiming?
What?
Yeah, good call. That was a misclick, 100%.
Just abandoned shit, man.
No. It was a bait. No, it was a misclick. He of all the people...
400 IQ baited out the Talia wall. Yeah.
Didn't get the charge. Yeah, he should be lucky that he could steer away from certain death.
Yeah.
That would have been, a tragedy.
With the buffs to the driving.
It would have been so funny if it just went in and died.
Yeah.
If he couldn't make the turn.
Would have been very deserved. But yeah, the Emilio has been so huge in this game so far. Kept Kingen alive in that last play, has kept aiming out of trouble the entire game, which is not always easy, to be honest. And he also went for the Dream, I always call it the bubble, support item. Dreammaker and Redemption, so he's going to be keeping him alive quite a lot here with the Knight's Vow that you point out. I mean, Smolder is going to be somewhat difficult to kill, I'd say, between the two of them and the amount of disengage that they have. You know, you've got Karma Shields as well. It's a pretty obnoxious comp to play into that DK have built here.
It really felt, and I actually think that the bot lane specifically did the job that they needed to. Like, they didn't end up getting multiple double kills bot, but against DK's level bot lane, I don't think you should be expected to get it. But they got like 3-4 plates, perma prio, were able to stack 2 dragons, but it was the top side of the map where the troubles really...
And unfortunately, they're stuck playing Lucian the whole game.
That is, yeah. I mean, yeah.
The biggest downfall of that.
That's the real issue. Versus a Smolder that now has his Shojin done as well. So those stacks going to come through even quicker. And now, DK can decide, hey, we don't need to go for this fight. This is just soul point. Leave it be. TP comes in from Faker. 161. So I imagine DK is going to say, hey, we're just going to take mid lane turret and be happy with that.
Yeah. Lucid hits level 11 by smiting away the big raptor. Feel pretty good about that right before this fight does begin, as it does look like DK still wants to fight this one. Not willing to give away even the soul points. And
they can?
Yeah, I mean, the Drakes will be valuable, always. You know, I was just saying before that perhaps would have wanted something like a Hex Tech as the flash comes in onto Keria. Not sure if that's the target, but is going to bait out the tidal wave, I suppose. Lucid still holding on to his nature's grasp.
Yeah, this is one of the problems as a hold-up.
He's going to use it. Kingen is pretty zoned away from this one. We do have Paranoia as well, which doesn't really do much. And now they're going to go in onto Kingen. Not sure about that one, owner. He is in a bit of trouble now, as Lucid also, but he is going to be saved by the Emilio once again. And down will go the jungler of T1. Although some low health bars here on the side of DK. And aiming still crucially not at 225.
Hysterics! What are we doing going in? Because I was just about to say is, oh, Guma, going aggressive. He has to. Like, he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
They have to get this Drake fight done. This is their window, with Smolder still only sitting at 187. But yeah, so basically with Maokai, your engage just isn't that good. Like, your counter engage is great, but trying to force plays like that, you're not playing Rel. It's take a little bit easy.
Maybe he thought he was playing Rel.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been playing like it. Like with Maokai, you just can't really make the plays the way that you do with Rel, even though you have point and clicks, you see in great lockdown, unless it's in a pick situation. But now, like, aiming might actually hit it. Like, look at the way that the poke is being invalidated.
Man.
Whereas the poke from DK, whoo, Horizon focus coming up big there.
Yeah.
That's second Drake going over.
And the more you get these Ocean Drakes, the more the poke wars will go in favor of DK. They were already winning them, and they're going to have 2 Ocean Drakes. They're denying T1 a soul, and they're scaling their Smolder for free. Aiming is 2-0, and he's almost at 225 in this game. Feels like DK are sitting pretty with the wait and stall comp and get your Smolder ahead. And also the fact, as you mentioned before, that Kingen got such a massive lead in the top lane. Just makes it even more comfortable.
And there are compositions, if you have like Vi Nautilus, where I'm like, you can just find the one angle and find the backline and blow up this Smolder, but I don't think they're that good at doing this. The ult from Lucid keeps away Guma, and then they go in.
Kingen's like baiting them. He's like, please go on me.
Yeah, because he has Hysterics. He's a fed Renekton. If you have everyone, then maybe you can burst it, right? Like if you have Guma there as well, but you just don't. So you don't get to burst through him. It's 2 AD champs jumping on him with his steel caps done as well. So Kingen's like, yeah, come at me. Now 2 Drakes available here, 2-13. It's not quite over. T1 still have map control, but I'm getting really worried. Serpent's Fanger for Guma I actually think is a great item. Like, you're going to get an incredible amount of value out of that. Healing reduction as well for Keria, but I don't know if that's enough. You know, like, you can itemize as much as you want, but the comp diff might be a bit too big as Lucid.
Zoning all. Zone them away from the middle there for 2 seconds.
Not even I would give him that much benefit without Valdez.
Oh, I thought you already put the POG vote in the jungle box already. No.
You know that you're joking, okay?
Yeah, and I mean DK, they're just sitting around, and that's fine. That's for them. That's all they need to do, right?
They're
like,
just sitting. You know the meme
sitting
format,
there menacingly.
Or like it's just Velda. It's just a headshot of you saying they're sitting around, and that is fine. I want to someone make that.
226, just past the 225 mark.
Happy Dragon. He got Rapid Fire Cannon done as well. He has Kellen, giving him even more range. We have this unstoppable Crocodile. The only thing, I think, that stands between this Smolder winning the game is just DK's natural talent for not winning games from this position. They do really have shown us that they have the capability, but I love the position that they're in this game. I think it's really hard for T1 to reliably get backline access, and if they don't, I think aiming is just going to start 1v9ing these team fights with a comp that's completely built around them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you might look at the gold and say, well, T1 are ahead. Like, doesn't that mean something? I would say that they just don't use the gold as well, especially as the game goes along. Like, yes, Guma is quite fed, and he can burst people down, especially Lucid out of position. These are the picks you're going to be looking for if you are T1, as Lucid's going in. Actually, very difficult to kill, but they do take him out, and that might just be Baron for T1. Let's see if they want to start it up.
Oh, really rough there by Lucid. If he flashes over the wall immediately, then maybe they're able to get out of here alive. Instead, he ends up going down. That's no smite. This might have been the turn that T1 were looking for.
Looks like they might want to fight this one, DK. They're going to throw in Mom just to poke a bit. But yeah, this should be a free Baron over to their side. And now DK a bit out of position, getting TP'd behind. Faker could easily throw it on a wall. Nice amount of poke damage is coming out from the side of DK. And T1 just want to turn tail.
Can they find Faker? They don't want to risk it. Instead, just trying to get Prio here in mid.
Imagine if they had a Maokai.
Yeah, that would have been very free. Really big mistake by Lucid there, especially with the flash still available. Held onto that, I think, for way too long. Great catch, though, from T1, looking aggressively for this play. And that might be enough, because if they do retain the gold lead, that could be it. Yeah, just walks up too far. Even here.
Flash away.
Flash away. And then he does flash. And he flashes towards Renekton TPing, but just had to use that earlier. You've been so liberal with your use of flash.
Yeah.
Just do it there as well.
Definitely a bit rough Certainly the Maokai is a big part of this composition, and they're going to need him when these fights do get a bit more spicy. As now he is back on the Rift, and with a Drake coming up in 20 seconds, we'll be curious to see if DK do want to fight over this. They are going up against Baron buffed T1 at the moment to make it a bit more difficult.
Faker looking for a wall angle here. Ingen off on a flanking position. Zeus also has farmed his way back into the game, by the way. We haven't talked about it in a while, but he's level 16. Think now sitting on at least 2, possibly 3 items as the ult. Yeah, not gonna get a whole lot of value out of that.
Well, he disengaged from them, and Zeus does have a nice angle, but they spot him. They know he's there, and it seems like they want to go forward. Here comes the tidal wave. Might catch Kellen. A nice amount of burst damage does come out from Guma, as now trying to go on the chase. Zeus still on a nice angle here, but not quite able to get over the wall this time around. He's just going to retreat. Very tense moment, a pretty close fight at this point, as Guma trying to make himself felt at this point in the game before it goes too much farther. Aiming is going to get bubbled, as he does have that very aggressive positioning. Here comes Mom, as they have the engage from behind onto the back line. As down will go King into the flash forward from Zeus. It's going to be enough. They take away Aiming, as he just gets wombo combo down. Yes, DK will get the dragon, but they are getting absolutely swept off the map here, as it will be a clean ace in favor of T1 on the dragon fight.
Do not worry, says T1. All we need is just one angle, one moment of weakness, and that moment of weakness DK did give them. It starts with the Baron, but that I think they could have come back from. Now, it's still relatively early into the game. I don't know if the death timers are going to be, I think Aiming should be up, so at the very least, they will be able to hold on to the Nexus. But still, now the gold lead for T1. Ballooned off of the face of planet Earth. They're up in the stratosphere, Valdez. And yeah, you got a soul point. Not going to be the difference maker.
Yeah, I mean, they were staking their claim on that one, and they had already taken so much damage. And the fact, it's going to get split up here, so Kingan's going to go into the back line as Zeus does, but Kingan is the one that goes down.
Aiming, trying to move forward, gets hit. The thing is, though, I felt like they actually turned a corner because they know Zeus is there. They were able, and then here Aiming has flash, but still gets caught by Zeus. Zeus on top of him. Lethality Aatrox. The man was scaling all along. And
I'd say don't run at the Aatrox with flash. That would be... He said, this is good. Smolder low. And really, that was it. I mean, got him as well. If DK were able to maintain a front line and not get Aatroxed in the face, they might have been okay, but the second that Aiming gets engaged upon, the fight is just done. And T1, you can see that massive drop in their favor on the gold difference over time graph.
Yeah, there are a couple of key problems there. Obviously, first and foremost, when you pick Maokai in a composition like this, you gotta stop using his ultimate as an engaged. It just doesn't work. Like every single time, because they have Nami, they have so much speed, they have the spell shield, like you're just never ever gonna hit someone. And then secondly, you're always gonna have to be on the front foot if you are playing smaller, because you want to try and get as many Qs off as possible. But at the same time, I feel like we should stop falling for the, oh look at Lethality Aatrox, he is low. No, he's not. It's not real.
It is not real. That is true. D+, they're not out of the game just yet, but T1, they have total control over this Baron pit, and I think that if they can secure a second Baron, it might just be over, even with the amount of disengage that DK have in their comp, because eventually you just get bowled over by the huge amount of money that T1 have, which is sometimes just better than any amount of scaling. It's just having a pure, large amount of dollars in your wallet.
Yeah, and right now, T1 obviously have that prerequisite amount of gold. I don't know if there's an opportunity for DK to really try and contest for this Baron that is about to come up. Looks like with the position, they are maybe thinking about it. We're seeing the pings, still 15 seconds, and they do have smaller, so should be able to clear this wave relatively easily. You know, Smolder's in the game, so I'm never going to say that it's over until it actually is over, but I feel like DK might have, again, find a way to make the game very hard for themselves.
Yeah. Kind of trip over their own shoelaces a bit.
Because and credit where credit is due, we've seen T1 get these type of miracle team fights, but I think generally the type of composition does feel like it has that as a great goal or as a build-in type of style. This one, they're just hard forcing, and it's working for sure as Baron gets started up here.
Yeah, Guma is the one that's trying to push everybody away, and he does have an insane amount of damage. Look at Lucid's health bar. He's got 2 armor items as well. Doesn't seem to matter as Nature's Grasp comes in, and they kind of laugh at them as they are not engaging into that. They get the Baron, and now they're just running away. Free Baron here for the side of T1. DK could do nothing about that.
Lucid, only level 13. He is so weak, so Guma just shreds through him. Also has the Serpent's Fang. So, yeah, it's 15 seconds, guys.
Guys, the Ocean Soul doesn't...
That's a Nexus trade. That's Nexus. If it was 15 seconds earlier, that would have worked. Wait, they don't know, though! Nah, it doesn't matter. Like, they could have probably looked for the end there, especially with Baron.
Well, they're probably going to lose that inhibitor anyway. Try to find whatever angle I can to give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's my co-caster.
Just trying to be as positive, you know, as Wolf has said many times this year. If you don't have anything nice to say, just say something else. And yeah, now trying to stake their claim on this Ocean Soul would be pretty nice if they could get it.
Serpent's Fang, the value, Veldes, the shielding that's getting reduced. I think they have 2 as well. If I saw correctly, I think Zeus also built 1. They built full lethality, right? So that means he's not tanky, right?
All right, getting in on the Faker, the engage with the W comes out once again, but Ingo's owner trying to zone away, and now Lucid is getting chunked out. Down he will go. King and Lucid are all alone as the rest of them got pushed away by owner, who was surprisingly tanky. He's buying so much time, he's gonna flash away. And there is the massive damage coming out from Zeus and Faker into that back line. And that should do it, guys. T1, they find the angle in the team fight. The TP goes into the top lane, and this game will end in favor of T1.
All according to plan for T1. Not even a moment of worry there, Veldes. What did we learn? I don't know. I'm glad that we have our space, I'm sure, standing, waiting, ready to tell us what transpired in this one.
Yeah. Not the cleanest game of League of Legends. Guma did look quite strong there at the end. He certainly made that Lucian work for itself. And you know what?